Okay, welcome to my Chronicon Thundercharged Avenger character. I couldn't find a character that was quite like this. I really wanted something that was purely lightning focused, just for thematic reasons and not, a bunch of holy damage or whatever. At this point, I can, I can make my way through Mythic 15 slowly, if I'm careful. But I've also got a lot of optimization left to do. So, once everything gets fired up, we're doing 4 and 5 billion points of damage a hit, which, is a number. Boop. I'll show you what the key bindings are in a second. As you can see, they fall down eventually. Anything like Mythic 13 or less, and they fall down quite fast. Oh, are we going to die? Oh, maybe? No. Oh, yeah, we did. Yeah. So I'm mostly not doing Mythic 15, but I'm also not completely maximized in everything. And I think if I can do 13, that's I can do 13 comfortably. That's pretty good. It's a build worth sharing. So here we are. So let's see. Here's my tree. Actually, let me talk about my key bindings first here a little bit. So I've got, the key choices are Dvorak, so if that looks weird, that's why. I couldn't actually get more than like 2 active skills on one keybind. It just didn't work. Like, it would let me assign it, and they just wouldn't fire. But as I'm wandering around, I'm just holding, for me it's the EQ, I'm holding one key, and that key kicks off Shield Dance and Revert, and it just does that continuously. And the point there is to build up the charged armor on the Thundercharged armor. And I literally just hold that key the whole time, just walk around, just never let go. Then I've got another key which has Alacrity and Reprisal and Thorn Maiden, and I can hold that, basically hold that down every once in a while to increase my overall damage numbers. Thorn Maiden in particular, crazy damage. And then on the last key, I've got Blessing just for health. It's heals to 30% of max health. At this point, as you can see, health potions do not help me. Health potions are not useful in any way, not going to help. So, let's see. So Shield Dance and all of its friends. This is a shield-based Thundercharge build. We'll get to that in a minute, but Shield Dance, Reprisal, all of its friends, some passives just because they're nice passives. The increases damage blocked is particularly nice. I think we get increases to that in a couple of places, but yeah, it's 85%. Our block is 85%, and our block chance is 85%. It's maxed. And then I think I took these mostly because I had to spend skill points to get to Thorn Maiden. I don't know that we actually ever trigger Phantom Shield. Although we do block quite regularly, and that gets us a static overload, which is, that's nice. It's not nothing. But we needed a bunch of extra. We needed as many points in the tree as possible to get to Thorn Maiden. The goal here was to rush to Thorn Maiden, and it's hard when you're not taking like attack skills from a tree to get to the ultimate. But here we are. Thorn Maiden is pretty key to this build. It bumps our damage considerably. In the fire tree, a little bit of passives, had some extra points. In the holy tree, a little bit of passives, had some extra points. The pickup radius is pretty fun. And then lots of stuff in the wrath tree. So revert is, pulls everybody in. Got the critical hit chance. This is a passive. Alacrity. Alacrity is to reduce the cooldown on Thorn Maiden. which, like, we cannot actually keep, this build cannot actually keep, as it is, cannot keep Thorn made it up continuously. Like, I would need more cooldown reduction for that. Don't have it. Here we are. And then Static Overload, because Static Overload is amazing. Magnetic Overload, Ricochet, right? So we do end up pumping out those static charge lightning orbs. I don't feel like that's a major component of the damage, but it's there. Attack speed, sure, why not? Avenger, of course, we have to have Avenger. Let me get back to that in just a second. Yeah, we are wearing a shield, so we increased our mana regeneration a little bit. Shrug. Honestly, I'm not sure why that skill has 3 points in it. That's probably... Okay, so the reason that has 3 points in it is for a while I was running around with Lightning Blade on my skill bar. Just 1 point in Lightning Blade. And the really nice thing about that was that I could get up to 10 charges of... 10 charges on the armor, like, essentially instantly. Whereas now, like, I was showing you the firing off Revert and Chill Dance, like, to get up to 10 charge armor, like, it takes, like, 20 or 30 seconds. Like, we're up to 4 now, and now we're up to 6, right? This is a pain in the ass. So for a while I was rocking Lightning Blade, but I really needed the skill slot. I was dying too much. I really wanted Blessing. Like, I wish I could have both. It's possible that there's some way to use the Hurt Blocker shield to take Shield Dance off the bar and then have, a regular attack skill that can be spammed, but Hurt Blocker honestly isn't that great for that build. I can figure it out. But that's my trees. Mastery, obviously pretty deep in the mastery, but basically rushed to this node, like key ones to get are this node here, right? We want all the block chance all the time, right? So this is really important here. Evasion, like the defense here is very much relying on just throwing lots of different types of defense at everything. So we've got some evasion, we've got some stagger, we've got all the block chance, right? So this one, we want to rush this one. 100% increased damage of Avenger, very, very, very good. This one also, right? And then these other two, they're fine, right? This guy, as soon as you can get it is pretty great, right? So I tried to push hard to get to that sooner rather than later, but we got some block chance. Satellites. Anything that gives you a bonus to satellites, super important. Get that as quick as you can. Effect duration is nice for Thorn Maiden. Chance to block cap increased again, right? We want more block, all the block. Plus all resistances. All resistances is super important in this build. I have it almost every on almost every piece of equipment. And again, satellite damage, yay. And then as we get down here, more damage blocking again, layering that defense. I don't think any of the damage reduction again. I don't think any of the rest of these, like, we're at overpower, right? I'm at 100% overpower. It matters. Like, I took 15% off my overpower, and like I was doing like a billion less damage. It was crazy. I don't think any of the rest of these are more evasion. I don't think any of the rest of these are super duper important. And then just these early ones because they were right there and I was starting to have lots of mastery points. But like I was doing Mythic 10 at like, I want to say like 200, 250 mastery points. Like you don't need to have a mastery tree that looks like this to have this build be useful. Okay, let me talk about my injector real quick because I feel like people mostly don't do that, but I have found it to be incredibly nice for this build. I've got Greater Thorns, I've got Resistance, and I've got Damage Stagger. Like, I'm not super convinced that the Damage Stagger in here is actually making a big difference, but it's not nothing. Okay, I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to cover besides items. Like I've got a beast, but he's not really doing a lot, honestly. Okay, let's talk about items. So we've got 3 items of the Thundercharged set. We've got the hat, and we've got the coat, and we've got the sword. That 40% damage reduction would be pretty great, but we're going with the shield. Because it just turned out to be more powerful, and it turned out to be a lot more damage, and as you saw when I was running Mythic 15, this build, I've been at various points where it's like, wow, I'm doing a ton of damage, but I'm really squishy, and other times where I just needed to do more damage, right? It's pretty balanced in the sense that I've had times where I've been really focused on increasing my defense, and I've had times where I've really focused on increasing my damage. I couldn't justify the increased defense, given how amazing Nemesis is for damage. It's a lot, especially with some of the other things we got going on. So let's talk about it. Okay, the Thundercharged Crown. We've got. I'm going to go over runes first, and then I'll sort of come back and talk about gems and enchants. So Wayrwick's Crown gives us bonuses to everything, which then actually we should talk about things in a particular order. Where is there's a particular thing that I'm looking for. Just a second. Oh yeah, it's Nemesis. So Nemesis does damage for every point of health, mana, and damage. This means that increasing your health actually increases your thorns, and because of the 3-item bonus for Thundercharged, I'm sorry, the 2-item bonus. The 2-item bonus makes it so that 3-item bonus. 3-item bonus makes it so that Avenger is Avenger powers your satellites, right? So what does Avenger do? Avenger deals Thorns damage as lightning damage, 400% of Thorns damage as lightning damage. Okay, fine. While wearing a tome, it says. Turns out that the while wearing a tome part only affects the Thorns behavior. So the enemy comes up and hits you, they get hit back by Avenger as chain lightning for 400% of your lightning damage. But that 400% number, Avenger's damage is that 400% number, whether Avenger is triggered by Thorns or not. So simply taking the skill makes there be a skill called Avenger whose damage is 400% of your Thorns damage. So that's what powers everything else. That's why this Nemesis thing works. And yes, I promise that I checked. And other people have checked. I've seen other people on various forums we're sure. It may be a bug. I actually posted the bugs forum. I think this might be a bug. But for now, it is April 27th, 2023. At this moment, that 400% of your Thorns damage being the damage of Avenger, whether you're wearing a tome or not, totally works, I promise. So, Nemesis adds damage to Thorns for every point of health, mana, and damage, which means that if you can boost health or mana or damage, you also boost your Thorns output, which gets multiplied by 4 and turned into your satellite damage, and that's where all your damage comes from. So, that's why we're running Heartstone. So Heartstone increases your health by a chunk of your total resistances. So I've got resist all on almost all of my items. And then I've got Heartstone, and I've got Wayrwick's Crown, which also, you'll notice that Wayrwick's Crown increases all of those things that feed into Nemesis's Thorns boost, right? So I've got, what am I running, 268k health without my injectors on. So if I hit my injector, which gives me, you'll notice it does all resistances increase by 15%, right? So that feeds into Heartstone, which then feeds into Nemesis. So if I just let me grab an elixir here. Where's an elixir of resistance? Yes, lovely. If I just pound an elixir of resistance, I go from 268 health to 299 health and 15 million to 16.6 million thorns. So that process of boost your resistances or your health or your damage or your mana, all of it gets turned into satellite damage at 400%. That's the overall structure of this build. That's how this build works. So, Wayrwick's Crown. Now, there's... I also ran with Lifeguard for a while, because damage reduction. At this moment, I mean, you saw me die on 15, right? But, like, at this moment, anything that I can kill in a reasonable amount of time, like if I go and, if I go and jump into like a 13 or a 14, right? Anything that I can kill in a reasonable amount of time is not really damaging me all that much. Let's find some people here. Yeah, so anything I can kill in a reasonable amount of time, like if we, like that's good. 13's about right. So if I get a sufficient crowd, I'll need to pop my health spell, right? I'm holding E this whole time. There we go, more damage. So, like you can see that I got the stagger going on, like things are starting to do some damage, right? There we go. Took some damage, healed, back off a little bit and heal. That's basically my process. I take some damage, I back off a little bit and heal. But as you can see, like 15, it was taking me forever to do damage, and also they were hurting me, right? But on levels where I am able to do a reasonable amount of damage, I'm not dying. Or at least not, not easily. Like, I have to kind of work for it, right? So, at this point, it feels pretty balanced. It feels like, on levels where I can do enough damage to matter, I'm also not dying horribly, right? So, if I really wanted to push higher, I could try Lifeguard again, but I'm going to lose some damage. And as you saw, I was taking a really long time to kill things on 15 anyway, so this feels balanced to me right now. Okay, entities eccentricity. This is just in here for the 80% increase satellite damage. Actually, I'm going to come back. I'm going to come back to accessories. The accessories were the worst. Talisman of Spines plus gravity, by far better than everything else I tried. Like, nothing else. So gravity, first of all, gravity is amazing. Gravity is absolutely essential to this build. You cannot get very far in this build without gravity. Like, it's a huge game changer. You can also do Retaliator's Choker in this spot. I forgot to mention that I've got 2 pieces of Retaliators on right now. That 30%, if you get that third Retaliator item, that 30% is pretty great. We'll talk about that again when we come back to accessories. But Talisman of Spines, oh my god. Talisman of Spines boost damage on this build so much because, and that's the other reason that I popped out Lightning Blade. Every skill that I have, every single one, triggers Talisman of Spines. It's amazing. Is so huge. So yeah, Talisman of Spines, gravity. Nemesis, I've got Tome of Wrath. There are other options, right? Like, the Critical Thorns, right? Could go here. It's fine. I'm gonna, I have all of the materials that I need for a mythical forged weapon. I'm just waiting to get another copy of the Greatness rune, because I only have the one now. And then I'm going to try to put the critical thorns rune back in this build. It's a great rune for this build. But yeah, Tome of Wrath is what's on Nemesis right now. It worked great. On my armor right now, I have Elegance just for that evasion. Yay, evasion. On the sword, as I mentioned, I have Greatness because I've got... what have I got? I've got Heartstone, and I've got Wayrwick's Crown, and I've got Gravity, and I've got elegance, right? So, and like I said, right now it feels balanced. Like anybody that I can kill, I can survive, and anybody I can't kill, I can't survive. Right? It's fine. This is one of my 2 retaliators, and it's got the staggering on it. Again, damage reduction, right? And this is my other retaliators item, and it's got 25% to all resistances, which is again like so. Like my health is my oh yeah, I popped my thing. So right now my health is 306, and my thorns is 25.2 million. If I pop that out, right, like would just yeah, huge difference in health. Like my health goes from 199 to 268, and my where my thorns go? My thorns goes from 15 million to 4.7 million, and that's all that 25% to all resistances packing through the Heartstone into Nemesis, right? So okay, let's talk about let me check real quick if I had any alternate items I really wanted to talk about. I'm not impressed with One for All for the amulet. There's no Nemesis is just part of the build. That's just what you do. While you're leveling up, you can certainly use the tome. Like, it works fine. It got me like, I don't know, got me through like Mythic 3, I think, with the tome. Like, it's fine. We can't use Elementium with Heartstone. I checked. It just doesn't work. I want to say I can't remember the exact nature of it not working off the top of my head, but it was not it did not make for a good build at all. What is Elementium doing? I've got an Elementium around here somewhere, but I can't find it. So whatever, doesn't matter. But yeah, you can't use Elementium with Heartstone, and Heartstone is a big part of this build. So. Yeah, we could be using staggering boots directly, but I really wanted no, we really need 2 retaliators, and like the amulet is locked in at this point. The talisman spines has been so amazing. Rings, like yeah, again, we got the retaliators band because we need the retaliators band. There was a while where I was using Ring of Pure Energies and Cosmic Cape for my accessory because they came up early in my legendary rolls, and that worked fine, for a while. It's not as good as this, not by a long shot. There are a lot of possible runes to put on the ring, like Lesser Rune of the Fierce Avenger, Meteorite Ring, King's Rock, Boom Ring, right? There's all kinds of options. I feel like with the overall stack of stuff that we've got going on, Terra's Binding is the best, at least right now. I might change my mind later. We'll see. But it's pretty good. Vindicator. Let's talk about Shrank's Vindicator. So Shrank's Vindicator is infinite damage stacking, which is a thing this build definitely doesn't have. Like, I'm definitely starting to, there's a lot of optimization I can do, but I don't know how much more damage I can actually squeeze out of this build. Like, I don't think I'm going to get up to, the crazy tier 100 stuff, whatever people do. I just don't think I can squeeze enough more damage out of this build, but, maybe. I don't know. Like, I haven't optimized all my enchants or whatever. So, you look at Shrank's Vindicator and you go, wow, that's infinitely scaling damage. That sounds pretty great. Here's the problem. It's infinitely scaling damage on a per individual basis, so each person that you hit starts with 0 stacks of the Shrank's Vindicator awesomeness, and you have to build up stacks, and it takes 20 stacks. I tested this. It takes 20 stacks before it starts actually mattering. Now, if you're in a really long boss fight, yeah, totally. If I was trying to do a bunch of Mythic 15 boss fights, maybe I'd bring a Shranks along, because those things take 30 minutes right now. Not that long, it was a long time. But anything short of that is totally useless. It's really unfortunate. It looks great on paper. It's just, it doesn't scale fast enough. Okay, accessories. So many good options for accessories. So like you can take the Retaliator's Cloak and get that 30% Thorns bonus, and that's amazing. I was wearing the Cosmic Cape for a while. That was pretty good. I would love to try Pain Grinder. I don't have a Pain Grinder. I'm not running a Pain Grinder's Berserker only. I don't have a Berserker right now. But in my testing, where is it? In my testing, the entity's eccentricity did more than the Retaliator Cloak, even with the 30% bonus from having the third Retaliator item, right? Even with that, the entity's eccentricity did a little bit more damage. I was also like rolling with the Cosmic Cape for a while, and the Cosmic Cape, yeah, there's my Cosmic Cape with Hearthstone. The Cosmic Cape takes your essentially adds takes your mana, takes half your mana and adds it to damage at a 1.5x, but it doesn't take it away from your mana. So like if you've got 10,000 mana, you now have 10,000 mana and what is that, like 7250 bonus damage, which means that it feeds into Nemesis. So like actually the Cosmic Cape and the Retaliator's Cloak and the entity's eccentricity, that was actually really hard. Like it took a lot of testing to actually pick which one of those to use. Balgur's Binding is the other big option, and if I was again really stuck on, if I was dealing out plenty of damage and dying all of the time, which I'm not, I would be trying Balgur's Binding. It is not. You'll find old guides that are just like Balgur's Binding, Balgur's Binding, Balgur's Binding. Check the guide. If it's older than about like 2021, I want to say I found a post online that gave a specific date of like October 2021 or something, of like ignore any guide older than that, and just a bunch of things changed after that. And in particular, Baldur's Binding got hugely nerfed. It's not as amazing as it used to be. Like it used to be like it used to max out at like 60% of damage staggered or something, and just it used to be ridiculous. So I'm not planning on messing with it right now because first of all, I don't have an extra Hearthstone, and secondly, Entity's eccentricity is pretty great. But yeah, that's the situation with just accessories were by far the most complicated slot, and I've got lots of good options for accessories. Okay, for enchants, we've got bonuses to bonus to Thorns is amazing. Bonus to Thorns scales tremendously because we're pumping it through like 3 different multipliers before it sticks out, and you can go over and stand. You can take an item and reroll an enchant to get plus Thorns, and just go over and stand next to the dummies and just like watch your damage like triple by pumping out the plus 1800 Thorns. It's nuts. Damage stagger, bonus to satellites, bonus to gem effect, right? Because always, right? Bonus to health, because bonuses to health get pumped through Nemesis to make more Thorns, to make more satellite damage. It's not like your damage will go up more from bonuses to Thorns than it will from bonuses to health, but it goes up from bonuses to health too, and it goes up a fair bit. So you can end up being pretty balanced with how much health you're sticking on versus Thorns, and end up with a good build. And then, like, you know, for fillers, I've got, like, you know, when I ran out of other good things, oh yeah, I'm sorry, excuse me, plus to all resistances. Always get plus to all resistances. I don't know, like, if you read Hearthstone, it seems like it shouldn't make that much of a difference, but in fact, I don't know where Hearthstone is in the multiplication tree, but, like, getting a plus 15% to all resistances jumps my health by like 10,000 or something. Like it's staggering, right? Evasion, because again we're stacking the defenses, right? But plus to all resistances, thorns, health are my big ones. And then satellite enchants and gem enchants and anything else that seems useful at the time. Gems, again, plus to thorns, plus to evasions. I played around back and forth with this. Like, for a long time, I was just dying a lot. And so I had, like, more evasion on more things, but I've kind of scaled that back, especially with the plus gem effect. Like, the plus gem effect has gotten to the point where, like, my overpower is maxed, and my block chance and damage blocked is max, so like I've been starting to drop things that I was using for like overpower and block chance, but like this one used to have 2 extra block chances on it, and now it's got the bonus to lightning, right? Lightning, block chance, overpower, thorns. Like earlier on, this had like 3 health chips and a thorns chip, and now not so much because I'm just not dying very much anymore. I think that's it. I think that is my build. Feel free to leave comments on YouTube if you have questions. I do pretty much always see my comments. And I hope you have fun with it. Bye.